Stages of a content marketing funnel. Now, let's go right into it. Every content marketing strategy or effort has a stage or comes in stages, right? So earlier in this course, I talked about the digital marketing funnel, which is similar, but this applies specifically to content marketing. So as you can see, a funnel it has a start point and an end point, and the start point is usually broader compared to the end point, which is like slimmer. So I'm going to be explaining how this works. Now, the stages of a content marketing funnel, the first stage is the awareness stage. In the awareness stage, the goal is to attract a broad audience and to make them aware of your brand. Content that informs the audience of what that particular brand is about. What do we do? What can we offer? Outlining all of that, putting content that speaks to this particular subject that tells the audience about what you are about. That is the awareness stage. Now, that is the first stage of any content marketing strategy. Now, the second stage is the consideration stage. Now, the goal in this stage is to educate your audience and to build trust. In the awareness stage, you might have gotten people to view or to see what it is that you do. But there are also a lot of brands that do what you do, right? So they have seen it before and they're seeing your brand. They're like, okay, this is what you do. And then in the consideration stage, you're now like trying to build trust and trying to tell them that, oh, I actually have what it takes, right? So in this stage, your audience is considering, okay, what do they really offer and how are they able to help me? Are they able to really help me in the way that I want them to help me? Now, that's the consideration stage. Now, the decision stage is a stage where you are able to convert those leads that you got in the consideration stage into customers. When they eventually decide, okay, I'm going to go with this brand. They've made the decision to be clients to that brand. That is the decision stage. And finally, the retention stage is a stage where, like I said earlier, you get to maintain relationships and turn these customers into, frequent buyers, like customers that come back, right? Returning customers. Now that this is the retention stage. So in each of these stages of content marketing, there are different styles of content that needs to be put out in order to speak to the audience in each of these stages. So for the awareness stage, you might be putting out more informational style of content. For the consideration stage, you might be putting out more more value-oriented style of content, telling them this is what you've done before, this is how you can help them. And then in the decision stage, when they eventually buy, they are now paying clients. So your job here is to keep them engaged, right? In order for them to come back as returning customers. Now, it's that simple. So for every style of content, every type of content that we've talked about, each of these have a role to play in the content marketing funnel. Now, we're going to be talking about the best practices for content marketing. So it's not enough to push content out. You need to know what are the strategies you need to take in order for these content to be effective. Now, number one best practice for content marketing is to be consistent. Be consistent. Be in the faces of your audience constantly. Remind them that you're still there. Like, keep them engaged, keep them informed by posting content regularly. Because the thing is, with your audience, once you are not keeping them engaged, you are most likely going to be forgotten because there's a lot of competition out there. There are a lot of brands that are putting in the work in order to ensure that their audience is engaged, their audience stays with them. So the moment you stop being consistent, you lose track, right? So one of the best practices is to be consistent. So whatever posting schedule that you have developed, You need to stick to it to keep your audience engaged. Number two is to provide value. Like I said earlier, everybody wants something they can benefit from. Like everybody wants to take, right? Your audience need to know that you are capable of providing value to them in one way or the other. Either you're solving their problem, you answer their questions, or just provide value, like give them something, give them a reason to be there, right? So whatever content that you put out needs to do this. So number three, best practice is to tell stories. Now, a lot of people have evolved into telling stories in their content. So make sure you tell stories in order to keep your content relatable. Relatability is the key word when it comes to storytelling. So people can see themselves in your content and it's memorable for them. Nowadays, we have a lot of day in the life videos, day in the life vlog, spend a day with me, come with me, all of this. These are storytelling techniques. The technique that Abogo Doctor also uses in his video content is also a storytelling style of content. And we'll also have the use of visuals now. When it comes to, for instance, if you're writing blog posts, there has to be an attractive image that will makes your audience want to click. Now, if you post content regularly that has visuals, your audience is most likely going to want to know more about that content. So lastly, we have leveraging data. Now, this simply means using analytics to understand what works and what doesn't work and adjust your strategy accordingly. So one of the things about content marketing is the fact that you need to try out different things, right, to see what works because the internet is a very fast-paced platform. So a lot of things come up every day. Algorithms change, taste, people's qualities changes, like a lot of things change. So one of the biggest tip in marketing is to use your data to refine your strategy constantly to see what is working. If you have a strategy that worked, you need to put in more effort to see that you keep on using the same strategy. If it doesn't work, you need to go back to your drawing board, re-strategize and come back. So using this data is what is going to allow you to have an effective content marketing strategy.